Hello, AHLTA learners. All right, today's going to be a quick one. We just want to go over these columns that are at the top of the appointments screen. So what we have found is that if you click, they now have these little pins, and if we click on one of those, what it does is it pins that column to the left. Now, you would think that because it's a pin that it would stay there, but it doesn't actually stay there. If we were to restart AHLTA right now, we would find that everything was just back to its normal position, its default position, the way that it was designed to be. If we arrange the columns in a different fashion, and you'll see that I've done that, we'll talk about that in a second, and I want it to stay there, then I need to go to Change Selections and click on Set Column Order as Defaults. If you do that, then your columns should stay in the order that you have decided that they will be now, and even when you log out and log back in. So, all right, now what we're going to do is just look at what order do we have these in. The first thing I'll make a note of is that I've masked some data by collapsing the column. So this column here would be the patient's name. I've chosen to hide that for HIPAA reasons. Here is their home phone, their work phone, and this one that's masked would be the DoD. So what I have found works really well for me is that in the center of my screen, I want my main information. And so that's going to be the reason for appointment, the patient's name, and then the comment section. All right. And we use the comment section for scrubbing on these appointments to say if they're good to go, if something needs to be done, if we're able to convert that to a virtual appointment, or if we're going to bring them in sooner as a walk-in or something like that. What I don't have on the immediate left that is normally there is the provider. Most of you are going to have just your clinic's screen open, and so by default, all of the appointments are that provider. So it doesn't need to be the first piece of information that you have because you already have that information. So I have that off to the right, and I have PCM name right next to it because it's a little bit easier to determine that way if this is an impaneled patient or somebody else's patient. Then I have date and time, just because that order is a nice order to kind of follow through your day. Then check-in time and status. And then right in the middle, like I said, I have the reason for appointment, the patient name, and the comments. Because the comments are used to talk about getting a hold of the patient, potentially, in a lot of cases, I have the patient's home phone and work phone as a column next. And then anything else that's off to the right is information that is nice to have, but it's not information that you need readily available at first glance. So that's kind of the quick highlight here. You can move your columns around. You can have them in a different order. And some will find that a different order is a little bit more efficient for them. And if that's the case, then go ahead and move them into what you think is best. Do that once. Go to Change Selections, click on Set Column Order as Defaults, and then you should be good to go from there.